Hey, you guys. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I hope all is well with you and yours. I wanted to jump in and chit chat about the tragic death of Rob and Michelle Reiner. Hold on, make sure everything's off here. So I wanted to talk about the tragic death of Rob and Michelle Reiner. You know, we've been talking about it here on the channel. So I just wanted to stop in with the update. So we're gonna mosey on over to TMZ first. And always as always, prayers to the Reiner family. It's just so sad that this happened. I can't get over it because as I look more into the case, I just look at how much that Rob and Michelle just really tried, it seems, with Nick. And, they didn't give up on their son. And for things to end up this way, it's just really tragic. So let's start here. Excuse my voice. You guys know we had a time earlier today and I lost my voice laughing at you guys because you guys are hilarious. Hey, Sky. And, I'm getting over a cold. So just bear with me a little bit. Okay, so this is the death certificate information that TMZ has. We're going to go through TMZ, we're going to go through People Mag and all of that stuff. So it says their surviving loved ones of Rob and Michelle Reiner have a little more closure today. The couple's death certificates have been released. TMZ obtained the late couple's certificates from the Los Angeles County Public Health Department. While they list some information already publicly known, multiple sharp force injuries as their causes of death, the gravity of the documents is still heavy. They were both cremated. Wow. Wow. Now, 2 days ago, we had heard that the family got the bodies. Oh, wow. They've already been put to rest. Okay. So it says they were both cremated at Mount Sinai Mortuary. Their final resting place is the home of their son, Jake. Oh my gosh. Hold on, guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Jake is there with the blue shirt. So say Rob and Michelle's deaths were previously revealed as homicides from multiple sharp force injuries. The certificates describe how the injuries occurred with knife by another. As you know, Rob and Michelle were found dead on December 14th in their Brentwood home. Rob and Michelle's bodies were found by their daughter, Romy, and she told police her brother Nick lived with their parents and was dangerous and should be considered a suspect. We know he was charged with the murders. Okay. Oh, wow. So they have where we can see the death certificates. Wow, they can do that? We can see the death certificates? Wow, that's different. Okay, so let's go to let's not even go. So they have Michelle listed as a widow because they're saying that Rob died at 3:45 and she died at 3:46. Isn't that crazy? Oh my goodness. So let's go to People magazine. Um so what I want to say, so let me tell you the importance of before I even get to People. Um let me tell you the importance of Rob Reiner House. If you haven't had the privilege of seeing a video of Rob Reiner, I'll try to see if I can find it and play a little bit at the end. Talk about how he got his home. Okay. So picture this. Rob Reiner is meathead on All in the Family, right? He's sitting there with Archie Bunker. All in the Family is created by Norman Lear. And how he met Norman Lear was Norman Lear came over to visit his dad, Carl Reiner. And he said, that little kid in the corner is really funny. Now, Carl Reiner did not think of his son as funny. Okay. He did not think of his son as funny, and Norman Lear saw something funny in him. So he decided to cast him as Meathead, right? That we know and love. So, during those times, he would come and visit Norman Lear in Brentwood at his house. And he said, boy, I hope one day I could afford a house like this. If I ever get some money, I just want a house like this. This house is beautiful. So, you guys, years later, okay, now the home was owned by a relative, Henry Fonda. It was owned by Henry Fonda, and then Henry Fonda sold it to Norman Lear. And years down the line, Rob Reiner is this successful producer and director, and he decides that he's going to marry Michelle, who he met during the making of Harry, when Harry met Sally, right? So Michelle is out, newly married, and she's house hunting. And she goes to this house and she says, man, it's a lot of pictures of Norman Lear, of course, the creator of All in the Family, around this house. This person must really like Norman Lear. So she goes home and says, hey, or sends him pictures of the house. And he says, oh my God, this is Norman Lear's house. I have to buy it. And he ended up acquiring the house of his mentor, if you will, the guy that gave him his chance at acting, Norman Lear. He ended up acquiring his home and he owned it. And this is where he built his family and grew his family. For him to lose his life in that home, that's just a tragedy. A tragedy. When you think about the history and how he got that home, it's something. It's just really something. Okay, let's go to what People has to say. Okay, let's go over here to People. Good old People magazine. So it says Rob and Michelle Reiner died minutes, okay? Minutes after sustaining multiple knife wound injuries. That's what the death certificate is revealing. So official death certificates for Rob and Michelle Reiner confirmed that they died of multiple sharp force injuries on December the 14th. The documents say the late couple was cremated and that a knife was used by another person in their killings. Their son, 32, has been charged with the murder connection with their deaths. So it says Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle official death certificates confirm details about the killings obtained by People on Tuesday, December 23rd. The documents confirm that Rob, 78, and Michelle, 70, died of multiple sharp force injuries inside their Los Angeles home on Sunday, December 14th, caused with a knife by another. The time frame between the onset of injuries and death is listed as minutes. Oh, wow. You always hope that people didn't have to suffer, you know? The death certificates indicate Rob was found first at about 3:45 p.m. and Michelle, who was listed as widowed, was discovered at 3:46 p.m. They have since been cremated. According to the death certificate, People previously reported that their bodies were repatriated to the family on December the 19th. Oh, wow. That's just sad. Let's go to that video of Rob Reiner talking about his home, to a memory like that. I was watching this weekend of, Albert Brooks and Kathy Bates and um just all the people, Kiefer Sutherland, who was, which, can we talk about this? Kiefer Sutherland said he was sleeping in his car when he met Rob Reiner, and I'm like, wasn't your dad Donald Sutherland? But neither here nor there. I don't know why Kiefer Sutherland was sitting in his car, sleeping in his car. But Jerry O'Connell, who was having a hard time just trying to break out somewhere, they had their memories of Rob Reiner, and I finally got to watch The Princess Bride. It was really good. I got to spend a lot of time just going over how his movies were they were very simple, but so classic. Just so classic. Like, the movies were simple, and it was this like push and pull, and these sayings that will last forever, as you wish on The Princess Bride, and I'll have what she's having on When Harry met Sally, and hey, you want to see a dead body, all these things that you remember from a Rob Reiner film that lasted forever. You forget about how simple, and Misery, like how Misery came about. You forget about how simple these pieces of art were, because he seemed very simple and easygoing, so you forget about it's a Rob Reiner film, but it's very, very American, I guess, is what you were saying. Very, very rom-com before people were saying rom-coms. I don't know, just very beautiful. Very beautiful. Hey Chavis, great to be here. Great to see you. Okay, and thank you for sharing that. Okay, let's go to Rob's house. Let's take a little peek so you guys can see like the significance of the house, and how sad it is that he's in his life ended, and his wife life ended in this home.
House was Henry Fonda. Henry Fonda actually planted all of these roses.
This lost 2010 footage of Rob giving a tour of his beloved home on CBS Sunday Morning is now haunting to watch, considering his once safe sanctuary that he shared with Michelle is now the grisly crime scene where they were brutally murdered.
This room over here is what we call the ego room.
The room is home to relics from Rob's career, including one of 2 Emmys he won for his iconic role as Archie Bunker's son-in-law, Meathead, on Norman Lear's groundbreaking sitcom All in the Family, long before he became a celebrated film director.
I think of some of the things you've called me. Pinko, commie. Don't forget Meathead, dead from the neck up.
Well, Norman Lear's like a second father to me.
Rob and the late TV icon's father-son bond was so deep, when Norman lived in the Brentwood home, Rob would play tennis there as a young guy.
I used to say, boy, if ever I have some money to buy a house, this is the kind of house that I would like. I mean, it has this kind of New England charm.
Fate had an incredible way of intervening. After Rob married Michelle in 1989, she went house hunting while he was working and stumbled upon the house, having no idea it was Norman's or that Rob loved the home, as he explained on PBS back in 2015.
And one day she says to me, I think I found something that might be good. I said, well, wait a minute. I said, this is Norman Lear's house. I said, you're showing me, I spent a lot of time, I know this house. And she said, yeah, when I first came here, I didn't know. I mean, there was a lot of pictures of Norman Lear here, and I thought, well, whoever owns this house really must like Norman Lear a lot. And then they told me that it was his house, and I wasn't going to tell you about it because I thought maybe it'd be weird. And I said, honey, this is exactly the kind of house that I've always wanted.
Aside from the Norman connection, Rob was also enchanted by the estate's iconic previous owners from Hollywood's golden age. Norman purchased the home from Paul Henreid, who starred in Casablanca and now Voyager. The home's first owner was Henry Fonda, famous for 12 Angry Men, The Grapes of Wrath, and his final film On Golden Pond, which co-starred his daughter Jane and earned him an Oscar.
Jane Fonda and Peter Fonda were born in that house.
Jane was close friends with Rob and Michelle, and eerily, the Oscar winner saw the couple their final night alive at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party. She wrote on Instagram, I saw them night before last, looking healthy and happy. I am reeling with grief, stunned.
That is just, it's just something. It's just something. Now, I would be remiss to tell you I have a story about Norman Lear and my back in old school Berg. We had a video. We have to go over it. So right now we're done with talking with our beloved our beloved Rob Reiner. Okay. It was crazy. I saw Tisha Campbell. She was saying how Rob Reiner gave her first shot at a comedy. I have to find out what that is. I want to look that up. TMZ call her out, and she said he was the first person that took a chance on her in a sitcom, and one of the nicest people she ever met. But I just can't find out what was she on. I just haven't. I don't know. No one says what it was. You know, he was the first person that casted me in a sitcom. She even put it on Instagram. What was it? I'm just wondering. But I don't know. That's what Tisha Cat, because I was looking for Black people that he kind of, launched the career. I just was looking. But anyway, Norman Lear. Okay, we got to talk about him real quick. So old school Berg, when I first wanted to start my YouTube channel, I had to bring up Eric Monty. Now, if you don't know who Eric Monty is, Eric Monty was living on the streets of Chicago, homeless, broken, with nothing. Well, Eric Monty was the creator of Good Times. Okay. And people would walk by him. He'd have a cup for change, and nobody would know he was the one that created Good Times. And he is credited, okay? He is credited as someone. He has since Eric Monty, he's still here, but Norbert Lear has since passed away. He also did Cooley High. Now, I don't know where Eric Monty, where he is now. When I saw him 2010s, he was in a bad shape. I would love to know where Eric Monty is now. They somebody did a video on him in 2024. I want to go look at that. I want to watch that. So he was he had no money, no place to live. And it was just really, really sad to see him like that. Like, he created Cooley High, Good Times. Let's see if we can watch that. So this was 2024.
Dave Chappelle once said, taking a man's life.
Let's see. Comedy Hype. Okay, they're gonna get us. Let's see if we could just get a little bit. I want to see what he looked like. This is Comedy Hype. Let me put the link in there.
Of a male figure in the Evans home. It wasn't until Esther Rolle, who played Florida Evans, joined Monty on his stance, which led to John Amos being cast as Jane Evans, the father of the family. After years of multiple strokes, Mr. Monty, at 80, currently suffers from speech impediment, but with the help of his family, was able to tell his story.
I always heard him tell this story. He was a little boy outside playing the Long Ranger with a little stick.
Okay, so he's around his family. Now, look, I want to preface. I want to preface this by saying, so I went to a place where he was doing public speaking. So that person could have took advantage of Eric Monty at that time too, because he was super weak. So he did public speaking at this place, telling us, and then we had raised money for him. Not we, like you was to donate, pay to get in, and raise money for Eric Monty to do another film. Now, this was the early 2010s. He got children, so that was pretty cool. It was sort of like where I lived when I lived in LA. Sly from the Family Stone, he had family, but he was just, I guess he didn't want to burden him. So this is really good to see he's with his family and he's still with us. That is pretty cool.
And this white guy walks by and he said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm the Lone Ranger."
And he looks really good. He didn't look like this when we saw him. He looks really good.
And the white guy says, you can't be the Long Ranger. The Long Ranger, he was like, why? The Long Ranger is white. And he was like, So he went back and looked at TV and he noticed all his heroes did not look like him. And at that moment, a writer was born. He decided there and then, I'm going to create heroes to look like me. I want to see people that look like me on TV. And from there, Eric Monte, the writer and creator, was born.
I would for the first time meet Mr. Monte, joined by his daughter Cynthia and granddaughter Jasmine in Atlanta, as they would explain their battle to honor his legacy, Norman Lear stealing the idea for Good Times, and Mr. Monte himself for the first time broke his silence on the passing of the man who infamously robbed him and his family.
So is it true, Mr. Eric Monte, that he stole your idea as far as a Good Time?
Oh, yeah.
Monte revealed that lawyers would end up taking all of his money, which would leave him no choice but to accept a $1 million settlement, and that would end up being his final cut for the entire library of Good Times. We would confirm behind the scenes and on camera that Mr. Monte would even become homeless years later.
Okay, I didn't want to say the wrong thing because that's what was okay. So your girl Berg be like, no, I seen it with my eyes. I got the evidence, but I was like, he was up here in a bad way. And we just didn't understand why Norman Lear wouldn't reach down and help. So he got the $1 million. So this would be the whole thing. I think he got the $1 million, but the lawyers took like $400K, and then he was only left with $600K. But this was what we were told that night. Now, this is a Berg exclusive. Norman goes and blacklists him from Hollywood. Now, if you've ever been on a blacklist, that is very, very, very hard to get off of. No one wants to touch you. I just can't believe he wasn't. I don't think technology was ahead. Like, he wasn't even ghostwriting for people or doing stuff like that. Like, it's being blacklisted is just, it's only so many doors you could go in at that time. So that's what I had heard back then, y'all. And this story has haunted me because I just couldn't believe one of my favorite sitcoms, one of my favorite movies, Cooley High, just that someone would make a classic that will live forever and in syndication, and you have no kind of, you have nothing. You have nothing. It's very sad.
When asked how much they think the series is worth, the family had this to say.
I think that my father is worth millions. Norman Lear took the credit for all of his works and was deemed that he produced, and he's the Godfather.
And he would get credited and kind of like get more work.
And right now he sits on generational wealth, and he was able to continue to make other things. And my father, when he sued, he was blacklisted, and it was metaphorically cutting off his manhood, cutting off his ability to.
I swear I never saw this, and I'm gonna stop it there so comedy hype doesn't get us. I'm gonna watch this, so I put the link in there. But it's something, because I definitely heard this story. I was able to sit down with Eric Monte and talk with him. I'm gonna find a picture so I could post it. I was able to sit down and have a conversation with him. And when I first wanted to get into the film industry, and I just couldn't believe the things I heard, which is, why it kind of is scary. It's scary that would be taken away from him. And Norman Lear definitely has generational wealth. And I think it just should have been something said where he saw Good Times and he saw what Eric Monte could bring, and maybe possibly helped him bring more creative ideas to the forefront. But hey, here we are. And Norman Lear is very much held and respected, and he will forever be, from Maude, which I loved. Everything that Norman Lear put his name on, you know, everything he put his name on. Let's look at some of Norman Lear's. So we got All in the Family. What else we got? And I can't help but think, like, man, he got 6 kids. It would be really cool if the kids could come together and say, "Hey, let's do something for the the Monty family." To say, "Hey, you know, let's come up with something and start our own generational wealth together." So he did All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Maude, Good Times, Archie Bunker's Place, The Facts. Oh my goodness, The Facts of Life. Are you kidding me? Stanford and Son. Okay, those were the classics. When we go to Good Times, and didn't Sherman Hemsley die without anything either? Like, this stuff is cursed, man. I just want to go to Eric Monty one more time to see what else he did. I know he did Good Times. And when you watch Good Times, when in the earlier episodes, you do see his name credited. You do see Eric name credited. Norman Lear was Elvis and Eric was Little Richard. Yep, Sherman died without millions. And wasn't it like him and James Brown? It took forever to bury them because they were fighting over him. Okay, so here it go. They say something about in 2003 his drinking had worsened. Now this Wikipedia, so you know, whatever. And he developed an addiction to crack cocaine. He later declared bankruptcy. By 2006, he was living in a Salvation Army homeless shelter in Bell, California. In 2006, he moved back to Chicago. He now lives in Portland, Oregon. Okay, so anyway, his first big break came 5 years later with a script written and accepted by All in the Family, which contributed to the spawning of the Jeffersons. Like, you can't have more respect for him. From there, he produced 2 1970 sitcoms, Good Times, and What's Happening. Wow. I forgot. I forgot about What's Happening. So he had something to do with that too? Man. So, since Good Times ended, the only scripts he's written that have been produced by Hollywood are single episodes of The Wayans Brothers and Moesha. He said the latter of what Monty called the absolute worst script he ever written. He took part of the settlement money to finance a production of a play he written called If They Come Back. That was the thing we were fundraising for, If They Come Back. It was about the play was a commercial failure and significantly contributed to Monty's financial ruin. Now I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head. I think If They Come Back was about like Good Times and Cooley High, and like if they were back in like the modern times. I think, let me see. I can't let me look it up because this is gonna kill me. Not literally, but what was it about? It was something like that. It was a play. They won't say it. They didn't say it, but they said that's what happened. Oh my goodness. So yeah, check out that comedy hype interview. And it's crazy. It's just crazy. So I have a different memory of Norman Lear, if you will. Scott said a lot of the cast from Good Times had it rough. Jay Leno stole jokes from Jimmy Walker and messed over him in a lot of ways. Yeah, I think Jimmy Walker, his career, he got typecast and everything, right? It's It's just something. It's just something. So it's something going on. I have to cover this, Chavis. It's this thing called it's this show on HBO Max, and it's something about James Brown's son-in-law. They think because he was investigating James Brown's death, they think someone tried to like eat him. So I have to investigate that. It's something we gotta talk about that, child. Y'all, thanks for joining me. I just wanted to cover this. I just think this is a sad situation. Do I think that Rob Reiner's son is going to get off? Yep. He's going to get off and write a book about it. Yep. He's going to be, let me tell you, they're going to be like, oh, and today on Dr. Oz, Rob Reiner's son, yeah, you got to take schizophrenia. Make sure you don't combine that. And I'm not making fun of mental health. I'm just being honest. That's what's going to happen. Make sure you combine that with Pilates and all. That's what he going to do. And it's all because of the money. It's all because of the money. And like, I'm just like, I'm so glad that they were laid to rest quickly. So I don't know if they're going to have like a memorial service or what for them. Maybe they just want, I mean, these are their kids that the kids have to have funerals for their parents like that in a homicide situation while their brother is in jail. They might just want to be done with it. You know what I mean? Yep, I agree. Rob's son will be free in 2 to 5 years with a clean record. They're going to be like, oh, that was just a mishap. Yeah, I think they're going to let him go. However, I will say this in all seriousness. Can the physician be held liable? Because they said that he got his meds like that week for the schizophrenia. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and then they started adjusting his meds. Why they didn't have him like in a, I'm not saying lock him up. I'm not saying that. But like, why they didn't say, okay, you know what? Because he's on these meds right now, maybe he needs to be on like a club, country club, like a nice little rehab center for 14 days. Let's see how because any medicine you take, you have to wait to see if it's going to kick in and work, right? So even if you're taking vitamins, you got to see if you're going to feel better. It takes days, right? So maybe 14 days, because we know that he also dabbles in drugs. So maybe we should keep him for 14 days here in a home away from people. Why did y'all let him roam around knowing he had these issues? Can they be liable for that? They're paying this place $70,000 a month. Not that money matters when it comes to that, but why the heck? Like, this could have been prevented. He was suffering mentally, and y'all just let him roam around being able to. He had a credit card. He could have DoorDashed whatever kind of perks he wanted. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? It's just, this whole story upsets me. Hey, salutations, Magnolia. All right, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here. Again, prayers to the Reiners, and we'll keep tabs on this story. As always, make sure you take care of yourself and each other. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Y'all, shameless plug here. You guys keep hearing me say we hit 10K. Okay, I want to explain that, because the reason I say that, it's just consistency. And y'all know what happened last year. Now this is just to my 9 blueberries in here, right? It was a lot going on last year, and I'm still going through a lot and trying to pick myself up. Like, this is the worst holiday for me ever. I don't celebrate like monetary wise, like where I have to go out. I don't have to get anything too much, but for my grandbaby, I have to get stuff. But I gotta work on that. But it's not big for everybody. Like, we don't do a huge gift exchange. So thank God for that. I say that because if you guys didn't know, this is for the blueberries. It was weeks after weeks that other people that were on YouTube were taunting me. Oh, her channel's dead. Oh, I'm fucking your bitch up in the social media world. Oh, this is that. It was just every time someone would mention me, and I never look at my channel to grow. That's not my goal. My goal, sorry guys. My goal is not to, excuse me guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get better. My goal is not to have, my goal is just to have a small community where I could talk about it, have fun, have an outlet, maybe have some lessons I could learn. Maybe I could teach you something. And then we have some laughs. That's my goal. So I say that very humbly, but then I'm pumping. I want to make sure that it's known that I appreciate y'all. And I want to pump it up and say, yes, I reached 10K. I do not make a bunch of money. I can't pay a bill on my YouTube channel. So that's why I do set a $19.99 goal. Now, if you don't know, our $19.99 goal came about because somebody misunderstood and missed the mark 1000%. And it became this whole blow up. Shay, who I appreciate, made t-shirts, and it was just a really good situation. Just I think he made but I can't remember if it was a CD, but I do know he made a mix for me too and got me up out of that depression. Like, I was really, really sad. My mental health was not in the best place. When I asked for help, I was made fun of. It just was a huge, huge, bad, dark abyss for your girl. So when I'm saying thank you, thank you, thank you, I want you to know that I mean that. And I want to say something. For me to do StreamYard and do live is $44.99 a month for me. I tried to learn OBS, but I'm just not good at it. So that, you guys, I think I'm only $24 away from having my $44.99 paid for the month. So I don't have that ugly duck on there. But if I have it, I'll still be live. I just want to thank y'all because this month I'll actually have some kind of paycheck. And that means something to me because before I met all the folks in Dalton, I used to be able to pay my car insurance with my YouTube check. I used to be able to pay my car note with my YouTube check. I used to be able to buy groceries. Like, I just one or two things, not like all three together, but one month I would be able to grocery shop. The next month, I would be able to pay my car insurance with my YouTube check. And covering Dalton stopped all that for me. So I just want to thank y'all. So I just want y'all to know when I be like, shout out to the 10K, I be just saying that because, man, it was just like people were beating on me like, her channel ain't shit. Her channel ain't shit. I was never trying to make my channel anything, just so y'all know. I just wanted a couple of friends over here I could talk and have a good time with. And I got that. So thank you so much, and thank you for letting me cross that threshold in an honest way. I didn't have to beat up Tiffany. I didn't have to down other Black women. I didn't have to dox people. I didn't have to do any of those things. I didn't have to talk under people's clothes, as a Southerner said. I didn't have to talk about people, belittle them. I was able to do that step by step, repost it. And shout out to 123 Release Them. Shout out to my girl niece. And that's it, guys. Let me get off of here. Sorry I coughed in your ear. Exactly, Erica. Hey, my sis. I'm not sure. I think it's going to be like OJ. I think the prosecutors are going to spend millions to prosecute this. I do think it will be a battle of the lawyers. Oh, the lawyers about to make some money. Did you see Alan Jackson? He got a whole team. They got new suits already, girl. Shaver says, you're alive and kicking. That's a blessing. What happened to Jake Paul? I have to finish Shay's live last night. Because I don't know about boxing, and it was just so funny. It was so funny. Thank you so much. He said we ride with you even when you're long with it. TK with the 10K. Thanks for y'all support. I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me just be me, and I'll see you on the other side. You know what I mean? It's just, I just wanted y'all to know I definitely appreciate that. And I want y'all to know I'm not boasting, and I'm not like, I'm really humble. Thank you. Thank you for helping me make it. All right, you guys. I'll see you on the other side. See you tomorrow.
Commentary blue, commentary, burgundy, commentary, comment blue, commentary, comment burgundy blue, commentary blue, commentary, burgundy, commentary, comment.